And by the way, I don't have the answers about herd immunity. I think Colin Cowherd found out about herd immunity on Friday on his show.
Yeah.
And the herd came after him for his top 5 quarterbacks arm strength thing.
Oh, yeah, because it didn't have Mahomes in the list.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's a legitimate reason. That's why I hate doing lists. Polls every once in a while are okay, Harry. We haven't put one on the poll lately.
No, we haven't. The Nets are actually in the top 8 in the East right now.
Where are they, 7?
7th.
Yeah, but they're down in the mix.
They're
not even 500, are they?
No, they're 4 games below 500.
Yeah, so when you're 7 or 8 in the Eastern Conference, does it really matter?
Not really.
Even in this format? Is there any way the Nets are going to rise up without their 2 best players and make us and shock the world? There's more likelihood, we talked about this earlier, baseball, a lower seed in baseball, getting off to a hot start in the 60-game format and then being able to hang in there, maybe not to make the postseason. Because remember, this is going to be expanded postseason.
No, not this year.
Oh, not in the baseball playoffs?
That was a proposal, but there's still 10 teams. They were going to make it 16.
But they're going to do back to divisions. Once they get to the end of the 60-game season, aren't they going to break it out into divisions, even though the divisions have all been condensed into, like, for example, the American League East and the National League East are playing as one division, and then once you get to the playoffs, they're going to split them into their regular divisions that they would have been in.
I don't think they're playing as one division, but the NL East is playing against the AL East.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, but
right, as
once
far as
we
the
get to the
interleague.
postseason, there's still going to be a National League East, a National League Central, and a National League West.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm
saying.
Yeah, so those teams will then be determined as far as playoffs, and they will play the teams as they normally would be in a postseason.
I believe so.
Because the American League's going to play the American League, and the National League's going to play the National League in the postseason, and then the National League champ will play the American League champ for the World Series.
Now, the baseball schedules haven't been released yet, have they?
I haven't seen any baseball schedules.
I don't think they're out yet.
But we do know we have to pour one out for Odubel Herrera, Harry.
Do we?
Yes, he is not in the Phillies' 60 players pool of players that they're going to take down to Florida with him.
Are you
now,
surprised?
Well, no, but I mean, they did the legal thing. Remember, he got in trouble last year. His girlfriend accused him of doing something in a hotel room, assaulting her. Then, of course, they had to take him off the roster. He was their center fielder. They took him off the roster, and he went through the legal process, which is what you do in this country. And then I guess eventually she didn't press charges. And so the Phillies then had to make a decision late last year. Do we bring him back? Will the fan base accept this? Because, any kind of domestic abuse thing, Harry, that's a big no-no now. And even in a world where we cut people slack, I think the Phillies figured bringing him back would not be a good look on a team that was going in the tank anyway at the end of the season. Remember, Phillies were playing well early, and then their team went to hell. And so would you bring him back just to stick him out there to play a couple of games?
No, it's not. It's not worth the PR hit.
And so they decided not to bring him back, even though legally he can play baseball again.
I guess they were trying to trade him, and they can't get a team to have any interest.
I heard there is interest though at the Oceans at one of the back rooms in the casinos. I think they're going to the guy who empties out the slot machines. I think our own Ryan Rothstein has an in for him.
He's got family in there
in Atlantic City. Yeah, he has connection.
Yeah, not Ace Rothstein.
No, not him. Ace Rothstein.
Isn't baseball exciting, though, with the 60 games? I mean, you got me fired up the way you're explaining it.
I'll be watching it.
For once, it's not 18 months long.
The point was, the thing about baseball that we're all mad about is that they could have been playing by now.
Right.
They could have cranked it up this weekend. Imagine just playing baseball on the 4th of July. Right?
That's the thing. Yeah. They're going to be going head-to-head now with the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. And everybody's getting ready for football, in August.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
It's a problem, but it also makes it exciting for the summer. I mean, how many times do you have the NBA playoffs, baseball, and hockey playoffs all at once?
Right, but I mean, like prioritizing all that stuff.
Sure.
I think baseball will probably end up.
I don't know, Harry. It depends on how exciting it is. And remember, there's still baseball fans. Not everybody's abandoning the sport.
I know.
Not just because a lot of people are down on it doesn't mean they're not going to turn a game on.
But the thing is now every game is real meaningful.
Exactly.
It kind of makes it. Game one is sort of a playoff game.
Yeah, you get out of the gate in the first 10 games slow, you could be screwed.
You're done.
You could be screwed.
You're done.
Yeah.
Now, the teams yesterday, all major league teams had to announce their 60-player pool yesterday.
Okay.
So they're going to have a 40-man roster. They can't go over 60 at any time. So they can have up to 60 players total, but only I have it right here. regular season, there'll be 30 active. Once they start playing for real, 30 active players. After 2 weeks, it drops down to 28 active players. After 4 weeks, it drops down to 26 players. Then they'll have a taxi squad of 3 players to take on the road. One of them has to be a catcher. And so the bottom line is you have to have a 40-man roster to go. The 60 guys will go down there, 31 pitchers, 10 infielders, 9 outfielders, and 3 catchers.
Isn't there a special, COVID list?
Yes, there will be guys that are not on the active roster. And then there'll be guys who are on the active roster when they get down to 30 and then 28 and then 26. Some of those guys will have to sit in the stands if they're not in the starting lineup. So that's how they break it all down. But the 40-man roster is what they will get to. The 60 guys invited, they did cut Matt Scherzer, and Drew Storen, who they picked up as non-roster invitees. And they announced on Sunday afternoon when they had to make their decision who the 60 guys would be on their pool of players available to take down. Because a lot of these guys are going to be cut anyway. But Drew Storen has been around for a while. Started off as a great reliever, remember, Harry? And his dad, of course, the great Mark Patrick on sports, who used to work with me over at Fox Sports Radio from Indy. So Drew Storen has pitched for the Nationals. He's pitched for a bunch of teams. And now the Phillies let him go yesterday. And I don't know much. This kid Scherzer played, I think that's how it's pronounced, right?
It's Matt Caesar, I believe.
Caesar?
Yeah. He's a South Jersey kid, actually.
I thought he was local, yeah.
Yeah, he was on the Cubs before the Phillies.
And his name is spelled, it's one of those names. S-C-C-Z-U-R. S-C-C-Z-U-R. Caesar. It's not the way I would spell Caesar. I would say scissor.
Scissor.
Sipping on some scissor, Pat? Yeah. So Joe Quill says he played football and baseball at Villanova. You know who would know about him, though? El Hombre.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably a big Scissor fan.
He might have been
Caesar fan.
Might have been in one of his classes.
Probably. So he played football at Nova, and the Phillies cut him, so they're down to 60. And I mentioned the other stories, Harry, and that, of course, is this unbelievable story out of the world of paraphernalia, memorabilia. Somebody sent me this story. Remember John Shira? John Shira was a defensive back.
For the Eagles.
Yes, I believe.
He played at UCLA.
Yes. And I believe, he wasn't Dick Vermeil's nephew, was he?
No, but he played for Vermeil at UCLA,
He played for Vermeil at UCLA.
Number 21, if I remember.
Yes, and John Shira played for the Eagles. He wasn't a star player.
No.
He played special
teams.
Maybe a little receiver, if I recall. So remember when the Rolling Stones played at the Vet?
Mick Jagger wore his jersey.
Exactly
yes.
right.
I think it was in the 77 tour. Wasn't it in 77?
Mick Jagger wore John Shira.
Yes.
He wore his jersey at the Rolling Stones
at
tour.
JFK.
No, this was at the Vet.
Oh, it wasn't
this was
the Vet?
at the Vet.
It was JFK.
Guess what? That jersey was put up for auction at Sotheby's in London. When we come back, I will tell you how much the John Shira jersey that was worn by Mick Jagger at a Rolling Stones concert at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia sold for.
It was 1981, actually.
It was 81.
It's saying here 1981.
Okay. I didn't know the year.
So that would have been the Tattoo You tour.
That's great, Tattoo You.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah,
not the plane tattoo. That's a different guy. No. He was on the Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
Not the Fantasy Show Bar. That's a different place in Jersey.
Totally.
We're coming right back. I'll tell you how much this jersey was sold for, Harry, and I want to know who bought it because I want that person's head examined. We'll explain that next. Stick around.
FYI, if you just saw a blip from Periscope, YouTube, or Facebook, I'm giving you all just a taste for just a second of the show, but to be able to watch the full show, again, you need to be on Twitch. Twitch is free. You can download it. You can do audio only on your phone app, or you can watch video on both phone and computer, twitch.tv/Tony Bruno Show. Switch over now. It is super, super simple. Ask anybody in the chat room how fantastic it is to be a part of the Bruno Familia. And unfortunately, you all, other than the Twitch people, Twitch obviously gets the entire 3 hours. But those of you listening elsewhere only get the taste just for a second, just the tip for a second. And so we're going to say goodbye to you again. Make sure you switch over because we do love you and we want to see you more.
And don't forget, you only have 2 more days.
Oh, yes.
2 more days.
You have to be on Twitch to be able to enter the bag, the fantastic Flagadelic golf bag that is over there
beauty.
Behind Harry normally.
She's a beauty.
And
she's one in a million
if you go onto the Twitch chat room, then you enter, you have to be following, which is free, but you have to be following, and you enter Loudbags Inc., hashtag Loudbags Inc., and you can be
That's one of my favorite songs.
To win automatically. Super, super simple.
Underrated song, Robin. Would you agree?
Yes, totally.
She's a beauty.